Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Life After D podcast. Here it's November 23rd. So this is Thanksgiving week. It's kind of a short week. So I'm here. This is my fantasy island here. So this is my Thanksgiving. I didn't even notice. I got a thing down there, like a little village. So how's it going, Emily, in the world of divorce court?
It's going. I'm happy for the short week. It's been very busy, so it'll be nice to have a little break. It's going. Things are scary with the COVID numbers going back up and not knowing, you know, I suppose the courts could close again and we'd be back to that, time when everything's getting pushed off. And then I have a crazy time like right now where everything's suddenly hitting. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's like here in California, it's just stop and go. I think like in other countries, they're like opening things up, and then once numbers escalate, they're like, okay, shut it down. I think once things stabilize, I think vaccines are coming out. Just stop and go. So it's gonna be, I guess, yield. Like like your stop sign, you're like
Yeah.
stop, go, stop, go. Okay, so let's get to the news, the divorce news. This is part of the show where we go over news online, see what celebrities are getting divorced, see what articles are written, and then get Emily's feedback because she's a divorce expert. And let's see. Okay, I think I think she's a writer, actress. Lena, Waithe. She's the actor in what's that a Z show? I'm forgetting here. I'll probably come up here. So Lena Waithe's wife, Alana Mayo, files for divorce 10 months after announcing split. The couple announced their split in January, just 2 months after revealing it tied the knot. Lena Waithe. Do you remember the show? Do you watch that show? I can't. Oh, let's see. Let me read through it. It'll probably unfold here. Alana Mayo has filed for divorce 10 months after the couple announced their separation. Mayo filed a petition for divorce in Los Angeles Superior Court earlier this week, according to court records obtained by The Blast. A rep for Waithe did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. The pair, who tied the knot last year after 3 years of dating, announced their split in a joint statement in January. After careful thought and consideration, we decided to part ways. They said in a statement to people, we have nothing but support for one another and ask that you respect our privacy during this time, which we're violating because we're
right.
Due to the breakup came just 2 months after. Okay, here's the show. Master of None. The Master of None actress, 36, revealed they had secretly married in a meaningful, under the radar San Francisco ceremony. We snuck and did it. We didn't really make any announcements or big, the Queen and Slim Writer said during an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show in November 19. Let's see. Okay, so she definitely helps. Okay, in July 2018, the Emmy writer winner opened up about how Mayo keeps her grounded amid her successful Hollywood career and hectic schedule. She definitely helps to keep me grounded, Waithe said on the Dave Chang show at the time. When I got home from winning an Emmy, she's like, don't forget to take out the recycling. It's those things that I think are really helpful. She's so laid back after about it all. So, okay, so one thing, so you file in Superior Court. Does everyone do that? Is that a kind of a routine thing divorces go through?
Yeah, so you would file in the Superior Court of whatever county you're in. That is what you always do. It's kind of crazy that they've only been married 2 months, but there are actual, sometimes people think, oh, it was so short I could get an annulment. But
Hmm.
annulments actually have to be based on specific things like fraud or something like that. So you could be married one day and you'll still have to go through the whole entire formal divorce process unless you actually qualify for an annulment based on the special rules. But those rules aren't based on how long you've been married. So there are summary dissolutions, which are quicker divorces. However, those require you to not have really many assets and things like that. So obviously for celebrities, that's not going to be an option.
Speaking of the quick marriage and fraud, according to Yahoo News, judge rejects Derek Chauvin's divorce filing due to possible fraud. The judge told the couple to submit a revised agreement with evidence of the amount of debt each of them has, according to Fox 9 KMSP. Minnesota judge has rejected a divorce agreement between Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who was charged for the death of George Floyd in May, and now his estranged wife due to possible fraud. Kelly Chauvin, 45, filed for divorce in May after Floyd's highly publicized death. And once Chauvin has been charged for murder, according to Twitter, I don't know if I read this. So this is RBG. So at Dibble's name. I didn't see this coming. I did say Chauvin's wife was divorcing him for his assets and not because she hates what he did, but apparently the judge feels the same and isn't granting their divorce as a result. So if we add a little bit here, Washington County District Judge Juanita Freeman wrote that judges can reject an uncontested agreement if the transfer features badges of fraud, as reported by the Star Tribune. Attorneys speculated that the Chauvins were looking to protect their collective assets and questioned if the divorce was simply being done out of convenience. Freeman didn't explicitly accuse the couple of fraud. Quote, the court has a duty to ensure that marriage dissolution agreements are fair and equitable. One badge of fraud is a party's transfer of substantially all of his or her assets, Freeman wrote. So it goes on and on. So they're trying to, how's this all unfolding?
Well, it sounds like maybe they're, because he's going to be subject to a lot of lawsuits. It sounds like maybe they're trying to hide all the assets under her name in order to protect them from lawsuits and say they're divorced, and so people can't touch them. So that could be what they're trying to do. I have no idea. But that's interesting because in California, they typically won't reject a divorce because you don't have to have a reason to get divorced. You could get divorced for any reason, just because you woke up and decided you don't like that person anymore. So probably in California that wouldn't happen. But it sounds like what they're concerned about is that they're trying to protect their assets from lawsuits by putting it all under the wife's name. And maybe they don't actually want a divorce, but they're doing this just for like asset purposes.
Because
that would be interesting.
Because I think police have some sort of probably pension coming.
Yeah, they do.
So
pensions and yeah. And who knows what they have as like just their private family assets. So that's interesting that, but I have definitely heard of people doing things like that before. I think it's actually not that uncommon in wanting to protect your debts from creditors.
So how does that happen? So if this were to unfold like they want, like the original plan, they're like, okay, so we'll get divorced and the wife gets half of the assets, or how does that?
Well,
how would that work?
Well, it sounds like why they're doing this is probably giving wife all the assets in order so that there's nothing to collect in a lawsuit against him. And then they may have some side agreement that, okay, once your lawsuits are done, I'll give you back your half. Like under the table kind of thing. But it sounds like maybe what triggered the fraud is that everything's getting awarded to the wife. They're not dividing it fairly. And so the court may have been like, this looks suspicious. Why would he not get anything in the divorce?
Okay. So they try to pull a fast one. Okay.
Possibly.
All right. So next article, Yahoo Life says 8 things I didn't see coming when I got divorced. So it says here, divorce sucks. If you think so, I have to believe you're the exception. I debated for many years and held off because I didn't have any misconceptions about this nearly universal truth. So this is by Marnie Broderson. So she lists a few things. Friends will jump faster than you can say mediation. You might think you're free to date, but you could be very wrong about this. Timetables are shot. Memories will stab you right in the heart. Disorganization between the 2 homes can be crazy making. Belief systems matter. Holidays are hard AF, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. Happiness seeps through the cracks. And let's see. Yeah, so she ends it with, life has generally slipped in through the back door for me, and I'm trying like mad to realize it's not all bad, not by a long shot.
Wow. Well, I mean, I think that stuff is true. Holidays are hard. Painful memories will come up. Things will trigger thoughts that, you may have thought were long gone. I think that's all very true. I do think, with the holidays coming up, that is an especially hard time, because especially this year where you can't travel to see family, if you don't have the kids on the holiday this year, it's tough because you're going to spend it all alone. And, you may not even be able to go to friends' houses because of COVID. So it can be hard, and there are a lot of challenges. And hopefully people can find ways to work through them. But yeah, I like when people share what it's like on the other side after divorce, because it gives people going through it a realistic picture.
See, this is interesting. According to this next article, mindbodygreen.com, the sleeper effect, why divorce's impact on kids may show up in adulthood. So this is by Abby Moore. There are plenty of inaccurate and potentially harmful stereotypes about children of divorce. While going back and forth between 2 households undoubtedly changes a family dynamic, is not guaranteed to damage a child's behavior or overall feelings toward love and security. In fact, when parents openly communicate with their child throughout the divorce process, provide reassurance and stability, and are kind to one another, therapists Chauvin, John, MS, LC, SWA, CBT says the child will probably grow up feeling secure. In rare situations, though, children of divorce can experience a so-called sleeper effect. Okay, so what is the sleeper effect? The divorce sleeper effect refers to the delayed negative effects of divorce on children, marriage, and family therapists. It's called the sleeper effect because children who appear to be coping well with the dissolution of the marriage and shift in family dynamics begin to show adjustment difficulties later on in life. She explained the problems were dormant and then activated throughout development stages. So some of the most commonly observed patterns are fear of abandonment, betrayal, anxiety, and preoccupation, concerns about not being loved, issues regarding intimacy, difficulties forming and maintaining intimate partnerships. And see, it says how to heal if you're affected by divorce. What's interesting is that even as if you go through this as a young child, it still follows you through adulthood.
Yeah, even if you don't remember specifics or even understand everything that's going on as a child, we know things continue to affect us in a lot of ways. And so divorce is going to affect you, but the research really says that what affects you the most is how the parents act in the divorce, not the divorce itself. So if the parents can manage to get along and at least put on a united face for the children, not be screaming and yelling and, violent in front of the kids, it makes a big difference. It's much better than if the parents can't control themselves and are difficult and screaming and yelling, and that's what the children are witnessing all of the time. So a lot of it really is the parents' behavior. But of course, just like anything else, it will leave its effect on children, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad effect. It could make them more cautious in relationships. It could teach them what to look for and not look for. It doesn't have to be a negative.
Okay, in this part of the show, we're going to go over posts where people ask for advice. They're going through the life after divorce situation, maybe starting in the process. So let's get to it. Okay, staying married for health insurance. I think we've gone through this kind of situation before, but let's do it again. I'm staying married for health insurance. My employer is small and will never offer it. If we divorce, I will pay 25% in child support. And with our debt, I could never afford to live any place decent and get health insurance. I suck it up and listen to her be me waiting till kids are done with college and I can get out. I have a part-time job and paying down all our debt so that I will be debt-free and have money for retirement. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, people do that sometimes. They stay married for health insurance. The issue is going to come if the person covering you wants to get remarried and then they force a divorce in order to get remarried, and then you can't be covered anymore. So even if you do that for a time period, it's probably not the safest long-term plan because you don't know if they're going to want to move on. And if they do, you can't force them to stay married for health insurance. So maybe as a short-term solution, it's okay, but ultimately you're going to want a better plan.
Okay, let's see. Here's a dating one. Too soon to meet the kids. I've been dating someone for a few weeks now, and we connected really well. We have similar interests, and I feel comfortable with him. Like I've known him forever. I'm recently separated. I'm not willing to have anyone meet the kids, and this is a bit of a deal breaker for both of us. I'm of the opinion that no one meets them unless I'm serious and planning to move in with them. He feels it should be after a few months if dating. Am I being unreasonable?
I don't think that's unreasonable at all. You don't want your kids meeting a whole bunch of different people, and then possibly forming relationships with them and then having that not work out. So no, I think it's completely reasonable. If they are going to meet somebody you're dating, I would probably just introduce them as a friend if the kids are, young enough to not realize that you're actually dating them. But yeah, I think it's something both parents should try to get on the same page of, but it's not unreasonable at all to want to wait because you don't want your kids to get attached to someone and it might not work out.
Okay. All right, this is the last post of the day. Flying through a lot of topics here. I think this is a holiday one. Trying to work it out. Any advice after shopping for Christmas lights today? My wife got that in the car. I could tell she got kind of dumped by her texting boyfriend that she said for years they were just friends. His wife caught him and told him he better stop or she's canning him. So they kind of called it off. I just found out at that time the depth of the relationship. Now 3 weeks later, she sees the truck and like his and gets all sad, almost cries. My fool trying to stay and work through this. Help.
Wow, that's tough. Well, look, I don't think anyone's ever a fool to try to work on their marriage. You made a commitment to someone, and if you still care for them, it's worth it to try and see if there's anything salvageable. But also, you have to not let yourself get taken advantage of. If that person has like clearly checked out of the relationship and they're treating you poorly and you are just being, their emotional support system for some new person and they're walking all over you, that's not okay either. So, I think it's always a great idea to work on it. But if the other person isn't working on it, if they're not willing to work on it, then it's probably time to move on.
Okay, last question. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh, that's so tough because I love them all, but it's probably stuffing. I love stuffing. That's my
Stuffing.
favorite.
Do you like it sweet or savory?
Savory. I'm a savory person. What about
Oh,
you?
uh, I'm a dessert guy. So the pies, like if there's like in our family, there's always like multiple pies. Like we'll have the apple, the pumpkin, the banana, strawberry. So I'll get like a piece of each.
Oh,
So like people stuff themselves, with the entrees. So I light and I just eat dessert all day.
that's awesome. I love pumpkin pie. This Thanksgiving is actually my daughter's birthday also, so we're gonna have cake for
Oh,
for our
happy
dessert.
birthday. So,
Thank
so
you.
every year you go through this and you have
It's
cake and pie.
every few years her birthday falls on actual Thanksgiving. So, I mean, she's only 6, so it hasn't been that many years, but yeah, her birthday falls on actual Thanksgiving this year. So we also have to celebrate that too. So it'll be a nice Thanksgiving.
Okay. So to our viewers and listeners, have a happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
and,
Thanksgiving.
and we'll see you on the next week of the Life After D podcast. All right.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.